Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the order book and how to read it. First, we're going to take a look at some small caps. This one here is odds, ODDZ, USDT. Now, as you can see here, the price is starting to move up. So what happens in the order book when the price starts rising? You'll notice that if you check the order book here, around the middle of the book, we're going to click on 0.2337. And if you click on these numbers, it'll go down into the buy side or the sell side for this price. And if you click on the total of odds, you click on it here, this number will also show up down here in the order for the buy or sell side. So if you were to measure on a chart how much this is for a move, let's say you were looking at spending maybe $2,000 in this trade, which is a fairly high amount for a small cap coin. Your order may not get filled immediately. So if we go to 0.02311, we're going to pull out the price range tool over here, and that's the current price. Just dipped a little bit. Now we're just going to pull this up we're going to go to 10% just to see what this looks like. So for a 10% move in the market for this coin right now, that would be around 0.2543. So 0.2543, you can't really see it on the book all the way up here. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the decimal points, and we're going to go from 5 decimal down to 4 decimal. Now this just cuts off one of the digits on the end. So we'll kind of round up some of these orders and group them together. And what you'll notice is once you get to the top, that is still not near this price, 0.25343 or 2543. If you click on the amount, 0.261, this would be $2,638. And from here, you click around the middle, 0.236, this 30,000 amount is only 728. So in order for you to get your order filled, for example here, if you were to try to fill an order way up here at these levels, 0.258. And so we're looking around this area, 0.2549. The amount of odds available at this price is 106,000.8. So that's a $2,500 value trade, but this value is almost 12, maybe 11% above where the current price is. So if you were trying to fill this order right now with a limit and just get your whole position in at once, potentially you could be paying up to 11% higher prices than what you'd expect. Now this can work in reverse too, if the price is moving up really high or if it's moving down very low. So say it was going in the opposite direction and you wanted to get out of this trade. If this was dropping rapidly, you'll notice that the liquidity in the order book starts to disappear for these small caps, meaning that there's not as many orders to fill your order at the price that you want. So when this happens, you might have to take a bigger loss trying to sell at a lower price, or if you're trying to get into the trade, you might end up paying a higher amount for that trade position. So one of the techniques you can use is instead of trying to pick an order out of the book, sometimes you might not get exactly the price you want, but you could scale in little bits at a time. So this goes into adding a little bit to your position on pullbacks when trying to enter into these small caps. So maybe for this first position, if you wanted to enter a maximum of $2,000 into the trade, you can click on 0.230, and then the price or the value for total odds is 1,267 at this price. If you click on that, that's only $29 worth of your position. So what that means is that you might have to buy just a little bit here, $29 worth at a time, and then wait until these orders start to come down to the price that you're expecting to pay. Otherwise, like I said, if you try to jump in and get your whole position in at once, you could be paying much higher prices than necessary. So it might take some patience. You might not be able to get your whole position in one shot. You'll notice too, though, that once the price starts to dip, orders will start stacking above, right? So if the price is rising, the order book will become depleted on the sell side, meaning there's not as much to buy at the prices that you're looking for. If the prices are going down rapidly, then you'll see the same thing happening in the green order book where you're not able to sell into the amount of liquidity that you're expecting. So a very common way to do it is just to buy a little bit now at this price, and then you can sit and just watch this order book for a bit. It'll fluctuate over time, and sometimes this 11,000 odds amount may come down to a lower number, and you can just click and buy that a little at a time. So you just click, and then buy. Back here, wait for this order to come down, wait till there's more liquidity to fill your order, and then again click the price, click the order, and then click buy. You have to keep an eye on how much you're spending on each of these trades, but also you'd be estimating how much you're willing to spend in that trade before you even open the position. So if $2,000 is your allotted amount, that's the amount that you don't exceed for that trade. Now we're going to look at another higher cap coin. So this would be FTM. Now FTM has better liquidity. It's a larger cap coin. You won't have to worry so much about liquidity issues. So even right at the bottom, we'll just go maybe about the 10th order up at 455.53 or so. And again, if you do the same method, you click on the price will show up at the bottom. And then if you click on the amount, that amount will get filled in here for you. So you don't have to do all the typing yourself. And as you can see, this is a $4,800 position, and that's not even very high up in the order book. So this is a very, very tight range. If you look at the price here, 0.45562, and then all the way to the top of the order book is 45602. So what does that look like on the chart? You have to go to really small time frames to see that difference. It might not even be negligible on the chart. Right, so let's see. 458 is less than 0.5%. So there's really good liquidity on FTM, meaning that you wouldn't have to worry too much about trying to get your order filled. It would be fairly simple. In some cases, if you're not using a lot of money, you could almost market buy some of these larger cap coins. But I definitely would not recommend using market buy on some of these smaller cap coins like odds. That could be a dangerous thing to do. Some people have paid 200 times the price just to fill their order because they were unaware of what a market order really means. And what a market order says is, fill my order now, regardless of the price. Same thing works in reverse. So if you were to market sell your position and it was over, maybe a $5,000 position on a small cap coin, you could sell it for up to 30, maybe 40% below the price. And that alone would incur you a huge loss that would be unnecessary. So you do have to be a little careful when you're entering into these small caps versus the large caps. Next one we're going to look at is Bitcoin. Now this is pretty obvious. Like, you will barely be able to move the price unless you have millions of dollars going into this trade. And so essentially you can come all the way up here. I mean, we're talking a few dollars of fluctuation in price, right? So at the bottom of the list, it's 27,947. And at the top of the list, it's 27,957. It's a $10 difference in price, but the amount of total BTC is at 3.9. It's flashing a couple times. So the amount of slippage that you would incur trying to enter into a large cap would be extremely reduced in comparison to a small cap like odds, for example. So that's all I really wanted to go over today, is just to be careful when you're entering into these small caps. It can be really tricky, and you can incur a lot of slippage and loss if you're not being careful with your execution prices when trying to enter or exit these trades.